Right now at 6, a judge in Jasper County sentences an Oklahoma man for his role in a 2024 murder.
And we've got some clouds out there. We've got some fog. We also have the possibility of more pop-up storms. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, some area schools may find themselves scrambling for funding after a federal grant is withheld.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday. It is July the 15th, and we got a very muggy start out there this morning.
Yes.
Temperatures a bit above normal, but boy, that air is thick, and we've got more thunderstorm chances a little later today as well.
I know when I was driving in, I was like, it is foggy, and I don't expect to see that in July.
It's been kind of odd. You know, I'm ready to retire the fog tractor. I'm sure you folks at home are ready to retire the fog until at least the fall, but it just doesn't want to let go. We're going to start though with our look outside downtown Pittsburgh. We're getting a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. So what we've got is a thunderstorm complex off to our south and east, and it's getting just close enough that we are getting some clouds off of that, but it is leading to a pretty nice looking sunrise. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin also looking good as folks get their Tuesday underway. There's the fog tracker. Here it is again. Visibilities have dropped a bit around the Grand Lake area since earlier this morning, now just below 2 miles in Grove. And of course, that's stretching into parts of Ottawa and McDonald County, Eastern Barry County, Stockton, Nevada, Iola, Yates Center, Northern Elk County. Kind of get the idea. We're seeing the reduced visibilities, just not nearly as dense as what we saw yesterday over a broad area. If you remember, a lot of Kansas and Oklahoma had some significantly reduced visibilities yesterday morning at this time. Once the fog burns off, we'll have that mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll start to see the opportunity for those pop-up storms. Now, Future Track thinks initially better chances on the Missouri side, but just before we lose the heating of the day, could get a few more on the Kansas side out there. We're sitting at 73 in Joplin, 71 in Pittsburgh. So our average low is 70, and so that's what I mean. We're not significantly above normal for most of us, but we are a little bit warmer than where we should be. Monette, right where you should be at 70. Everyone else into the low 70s across the area as we get this Tuesday started. All right, partly cloudy this morning, upper 70s, near 80 by 9. Thunderstorm chances or pop-up storm chances from 11 to 7. Will be a low 80s by noon, right about 90 for our high today. Southwest winds 5 to 10. And with the muggy conditions and our temperatures rising today, we could see heat index values easily approaching 100 degrees. So make sure you're taking care of yourself out there. Going to be even hotter tomorrow, a bit breezier. Then we get a few more thunderstorm chances tomorrow night into Thursday. We'll have those details for you here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. An Oklahoma man learns his fate in connection with a March 2024 homicide in Jasper County. Back in May, Scott Burleson pled guilty to murder in the second degree for his involvement in the murder of a Carl Junction man. Yesterday, a judge sentenced Burleson to life in prison for his role. As part of the deal in May, authorities dropped additional charges against Burleson, including robbery and armed criminal action. The case stems from an incident last March when Jasper County authorities responded to a report of an assault in the area of 7th Street and State Line Avenue. Responders took the victim, Seth Langford of Carl Junction, to a local hospital with severe injuries from an apparent stabbing. Langford later died from his injuries. An investigation found Burleson and Paul Phillips as the primary suspects. Phillips also pled guilty to his role in the 2024 murder. As part of the deal, charges were amended to just a charge of unlawful possession of a firearm. He was originally charged with multiple felonies, including first-degree robbery and armed criminal action. Our community's stories are often uncovered thanks to you, our viewers. We invite you to share your news tips with us. Scan the QR code and you'll be taken to a form where you can submit a tip quickly and easily. Your voice helps keep our community informed and connected. Thank you for being a part of the story. Several districts in the 4 states are trying to rework their budgets after a $6 billion federal grant is withheld. These same districts were expecting to have these funds by July 1st, but the U.S. Department of Education has frozen the money to ensure they're in line with President Trump's policies. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, the Pittsburgh School District is warning the loss of these funds could disproportionately hurt low-income families, as well as another vital service that supports students.
It was a sad day.
Ann Lee is the assistant superintendent of Pittsburgh High School. She remembers the day she received a letter stating her school district would no longer receive a vital funding she was promised days earlier. She says the money is vital for students and teachers.
It would be very a monumental task and could at times be overwhelming because of the significant number of needs that the kids have.
A significant number of needs is what this district and several others are going to have if these frozen funds aren't released. Ray Streeter from Northeast School District says he already has plans just in case things don't change.
We'll have to take money from other places in our budget to replace those funds. It's not optimal. We obviously don't want to do that.
Now, Streeter says he can handle the load this time around. However, in Pittsburgh, Lee says these funds will hurt everything from teaching English, retaining teachers, after-school support, and more.
Talking about a significant number of kids that are going to be impacted, along with the teachers who will be in the classroom who need the additional support to help reach them.
We're a high needs district. We have a pretty high poverty rate. And I know that those funds do come in handy.
Both Street and Lee say they do not understand why this is happening or when it will end.
We're working through and coming up with a plan if they are no longer frozen but not available for us to use.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Pittsburgh schools say if this issue doesn't get resolved, they're set to lose nearly $550,000. As school officials scramble to adjust their budgets to fall in line with President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, the SNAP program may suffer deep cuts. SNAP, or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, provides food benefits to low-income families to supplement their grocery budget so they can afford nutritious food. Experts say cuts to SNAP may have a long-lasting impact on children specifically.
SNAP benefits really, in particular, help children to get the healthy food that they need to succeed in school. And we have to remember that if we're cutting SNAP benefits now and children aren't getting what they need to perform at their best in school, this is going to have lifelong implications for those kids and how much income they're going to be able to make as future workers in the United States.
SNAP also provides support to elderly households, to low-income working households, and to other low-income households that include the unemployed or disabled, and to households transitioning from welfare to work. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Stephen Knight turned his own recovery journey into a lifeline for others, and it's now being recognized around the world. Plus tariffs, tomatoes, and talk of war. President Trump targets imports and rally support for Ukraine. And we're tracking light showers for today. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. We'll be right back, but first here's a live look from Erie, Kansas, ahead of the 152nd Old Soldiers and Sailors. President Trump has issued an ultimatum to Russia. Reach a peace deal with Ukraine or else its trading partners could face stiff new tariffs. It comes as the Trump administration has also announced new tariffs that could raise the price of tomatoes at the grocery store. CBS's News' Bradley Blackburn has more from New York.
Today, President Trump heads to Pittsburgh to focus on domestic energy and tech development, while his administration ratchets up his tariff policy. Monday, the Commerce Department announced a 17% tariff on most imported tomatoes from Mexico after backing out of a 2019 anti-dumping duty agreement. Mexico's government called it unfair. The U.S. currently gets 70% of its tomatoes from Mexico, according to the Florida Tomato Exchange.
I think the biggest effect, which is probably 95% of it, would be, your grocery stores.
California grower Bill Loratelli says the move could lead to price jumps in the produce aisle, but he also hopes it boosts production at home.
We should be trying to promote people that like us.
President Trump is also threatening to slap a 100% tariff on countries that buy Russian oil and gas if the Kremlin does not reach a peace deal with Ukraine within 50 days. The president on Russian President Vladimir Putin to the BBC.
I'm not done with him, but I'm disappointed in him.
Do you trust him?
I trust almost nobody.
While hosting NATO's Secretary General Monday, the president touted a plan to sell weapons, including Patriot missiles, to NATO for Ukraine.
We're going to supply weapons to NATO. They're going to deliver the weapons, and they're going to pay for 100% of the weapons.
Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky expressed gratitude to the president and said his country is ready to work to achieve peace. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Today, European officials say member nations are coming very close to reaching an agreement on a new package of Russia sanctions. There is a flood watch in effect today for Kerr County, Texas, complicating the search, rescue, and recovery efforts in the area. The death toll across Texas from the July 4th flash flooding has reached 139. No survivors were found last week, and 166 people are still missing. The Kerr County Sheriff says the efforts will continue for as long as needed. Officials say there is a plan to possibly drain a lake to look for victims. Still to come, a 1-year-old lab trained to sniff out dangerous mold inside homes. How his new job is helping keep families safe and giving him a second chance at life. Plus, we're tracking light showers for today. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
The surreal discovery of a stash of unusually large shoes at an ancient Roman fort in the UK led archaeologists to conclude something mysterious was definitely afoot. During a recent dig at the ruins of a 1st century Roman fort in northern England, researchers unearthed 34 shoes in the remains of a stone barrier. While most of the discovered shoe soles were of average size, 8 were larger than the equivalent of a men's size 13. That's a big shoe. Researchers suspect the colossal kicks may have belonged to unusually tall or large troops used to guard the Roman fortress. To paint a clearer picture of what life at the ancient site might have been like, further digging and research is needed, but this freaky footwear find is definitely a step in the right direction. And from big black soles to big black holes. Scientists say they've detected a massive merger of black holes, and it's kind of blowing their minds. The discovery, made by the LIGO observatories, was made using gravitational waves and is the largest they've ever seen this way. Researchers say the merger resulted in a final black hole with a mass 225 times that of our sun. The sheer size of the event is challenging their current understanding of the formation of these mysterious astronomical entities. And finally, here is one astronomically large potato masher. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Okay, maybe not the largest in the universe, but this masher statue in Plover, Wisconsin is said to be the largest in the world, standing some 39 feet tall. It was erected to draw visitors to the nearby Food and Farm Exploration Center, a hub for the education and celebration of the world of vegetable farming. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Vegetable farming is so important, so I think that tomato masher is a great idea. Well, here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Oh boy, it is Monday. I'm telling you, it really is a Monday here. But look at that, a beautiful sunrise viewed from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. We're muggy, we're going to be hot. We got more storm chances. We're going to go over all those details with you when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:21 on this Tuesday, almost like a Monday morning. We've got more fog. We got more thunderstorm chances, starting, of course, with that fog tracker. As you can see, we're starting to see the patchy fog over a broader area. Initially, it was a little more confined, but you can see reduced visibilities across a good portion of the area. Some of the good news, though, is it's not as dense as it was yesterday because we had significantly reduced visibilities across southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. We do have just under 2.5 miles visibility around Grand Lake, stretching back into parts of McDonald County, eastern Berry County. We have this little smidge of some denser fog in northern Elk County as well. Reduced visibilities, Iola, Yates Center, Nevada, Stockton. So just slow down, low beams, not your high beams, and watch out for the possibility of rapidly changing visibility conditions. All right, so into the afternoon we go. Between here and there, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. And what mix is because there's a thunderstorm complex, a decaying complex off to our south and east this morning, and it's kind of given us a few extra clouds. Once we roll into the afternoon, Future Track does believe, at least initially, we'll have pop-up storm chances slightly better on the Missouri side of things, but we still could get some, of course, out to the west. So just keep that in mind. And of course, remember, if you're outdoors when thunder roars, head indoors. As we head into Wednesday afternoon, a couple of things begin to change. One, winds increase. Southwest winds gusting upwards of 20. Two, temperatures begin to increase as well, which is also going to increase our heat index values. And we'll do two things in terms of rain chances. First, thanks to the heat, humidity, pop-up storms, but take a look at Future Track's portrayal of them, giving a broader view here, giving more pop-up storm, at least opportunities across really the entire area. And then late Wednesday, complex of storms. Now they're expecting slightly greater severe chances off to our north. We'll be on the very far southern edge of this line of storms as it pushes in overnight into early Thursday morning. As it first enters the area, some of these storms still could be a bit on the low-grade severe side with maybe some hail and damaging wind gusts. So we'll keep an eye on that for you early Thursday, but that complex will continue to weaken, continue to decay as it pushes south, and then eventually fizzle out. But then that sets the stage for something else Thursday. A few remaining showers Thursday afternoon, but all this moisture, all this energy that got pulled ahead of this line remains untapped in the southern half of our area, so that brings pop-up storm chances, but they're slightly different. One, they're expected a little later in the day than usual, and two, they could last a little later into the evening, say 9-10 o'clock Thursday evening, simply because they'll have that energy to feed off of a little longer than most normal pop-up storms would. So here's a look at our risks. Again, just the pop-up storms today. Really same situation Thursday. The severe threat once we get into the afternoon and evening is low. But late tomorrow night into early Thursday, that level 1 out of 5 risk, again, just in our far northern counties, because that complex should be in a decaying state again once it gets here. Sunrise looks beautiful from 7th and Range Line. Quite nice. Patchy fog hanging on through about 8, mid-70s, low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today right about 90. Heat index values, though, easily approaching 100. Now tomorrow, low mid-90s. Heat index values tomorrow for some of us could be in that 100 to 105 degree range. So you need to start making sure you're staying hydrated, taking breaks if you got to be outside. Our storm chances, of course, into Thursday. After that, pop-up storms this Sunday, maybe next Thursday. And look at those temperatures really feeling like July in the low to mid-90s. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. People taking popular weight loss drugs still need to exercise and manage their diet. Research published in JAMA shows doctors need to discuss fitness plans with people using GLP-1 drugs, especially because the drugs cause people to lose lean muscle as well as fat. Another reason to continue diet and exercise is that many people regain 7 to 12% of the weight they lost after discontinuing the drugs. Tens of millions of people worldwide don't have access to life-saving surgery. A study by the University of Birmingham says at least 160 million patients each year are unable to get surgery, especially in low and middle-income countries. And recent cuts to the global health funding threaten to make the problem even worse. The study's authors say access to safe, affordable surgery shouldn't be seen as a luxury. Women who work night shift jobs have a higher risk of irregular periods, hormone imbalances, and can even experience negative impacts on their fertility. A study on mice presented by the Endocrine Society says that the light exposure that comes from working the night shift disrupts the body's internal timing. The study also noted, however, that the negative effects of night shift work don't affect everyone. Home inspectors can often detect mold that is visible, but what if it's not? CBS's Christian Benavides introduces us to a dog who sniffs out potentially harmful mold that you may not be able to see.
At this home in Jupiter, Florida, Indy, a 1-year-old Labrador retriever, is on the hunt, searching for something that's not visible but can make people very sick.
He was trained to detect 16 different kinds of mold. He will go through the house, and when he smells it, he's going to sit down. I'm going to ask him to show me, and he's going to point his nose. Show me.
Zanita Cusel is Indy's owner and founder of Mold Hunt, a company using dogs to detect potentially harmful mold. Cusel started the company after she developed pneumonia from hidden mold at a home she purchased, despite getting the necessary inspections.
It's not just my case. There's so many cases like this.
Melissa Naman owns this home and rents it out as an Airbnb. She hired Mold Hunt to look over her property to keep guests safe.
There was nothing detected when I had a home inspection when I purchased the property.
So we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
Indy got right to work, identifying some areas of concern that Naman plans to address, but says didn't come up in the original home inspection. That's something she often sees as a realtor.
I have clients that have purchased a home and found mold after the fact.
Mold can be dangerous, even deadly. Symptoms include sneezing, coughing, congestion, and eye irritation, though people can have more severe reactions the longer it goes untreated. Over the years, dogs have been trained to detect everything from drugs to explosives, even COVID-19. Canine accuracy can range from 75 to 90%. This job gave Indy a second chance at life.
Indy was originally returned to his breeders because his first owner said he was too high energy, but in this job, he's found a purpose.
Indy underwent an intensive 3-month training program.
He needs a purpose. He needs to work. He's really happy doing it.
Sniffing out what may be lurking out of sight. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Jupiter, Florida.
Water damage is the cause for most mold problems. The EPA recommends drying water-damaged areas within 24 to 48 hours to prevent mold growth. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, fresh produce, local markets, and a helping hand for seniors. How a Kansas program is bringing healthy options to the table.
I've got a beautiful sunrise on a warm and muggy Tuesday out there. More pop-up storm chances as well. A look at your forecast coming up.
Flashbangs, guns, SWAT. Those are some of the things that are being taught in the junior deputy camp here at Jasper County Sheriff's Department. I'll have that story for you coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday. It is July the 15th, and it is already pretty warm and muggy. The temperature's not too terribly warm this morning, but it is very humid out there.
Yes.
That was uncomfortable. I get the drive up here. You're in the car, you're in the climate control there for a little bit, and then you get out, and boy, it's just not good. And it's going to be hot and muggy this afternoon, bringing us more pop-up storm chances as well. However, let's start with our traditional look outside in downtown Pittsburgh. The sun is rising. You can kind of see that haze out there as well. We've got a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, and that is courtesy a thunderstorm complex that's off to our south and east. That's just kind of pushing a few clouds up our way. We've got, again, what looks like mostly cloudy skies from this vantage point on the MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. Of course, looking back to the north, we also have fog out there again. We're starting to see it on a slightly more widespread level, similar to yesterday, but it's not nearly as dense as it was yesterday, at least not in as many locations. But Grand Lake area, 2.5 miles of visibility there around Grove, so parts of Delaware, Ottawa, even into Craig County, McDonald County, eastern Barrie. We've got Stockton, Nevada, Iola, Yates Center, northern Elk County. So you guys know the drill, even though it's a little odd to have fog this late in the season. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you have them. And, of course, just watch out for the possibility of rapidly changing visibility conditions. After the fog burns off, we'll continue kind of a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies as we head to about 11 a.m. to 7. That's our pop-up storm window. Could get a few of them initially in the Missouri side, and then a little later, a few more could be possible out in our western counties. So really just about anywhere with slightly better chances in the eastern half of our area. Temperature 73 in Joplin right now, 72 in Pittsburgh, and across the region we've been hanging out into the low 70s. Monette, you're right where we should be. Average low is about 70. The rest of us in the low 70s. We're going to climb into the upper 70s, near 80 by 9. Pop-up storm chances again from 11 to 7. Low 80s by noon, and our highs today right about 90. Southwest winds 5 to 10. With all that humidity, though, our heat index values today could easily approach 100, so make sure you're also staying hydrated out there as well. We've got more thunderstorm chances on the way. We also have hotter temperatures on the way. We're going to look at all of that here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. A Kansas program aimed at putting food on the tables for seniors began yesterday. The program provides eligible seniors with coupons to purchase fresh produce and honey at participating farmers markets across the state. People over the age of 60 who meet income requirements can get 10 $5 vouchers.
They can be utilized at any farmer's market within Kansas as long as those vendors accept those vouchers. They can utilize them there. It can be used for things such as fresh produce, fresh herbs, and honey.
Seniors in Cherokee County were able to pick up their vouchers at Crossroads Christian Church in Baxter Springs yesterday. Guns, SWAT, and jail. These are some of the topics talked about at the Jasper County Sheriff's Junior Deputy Camp. Reporter Ty Parks brings us the story.
I wanted to see what different jobs had to offer, what other jobs had to offer.
Junior Deputy Jacob Hoffman wants to know what it's like to be a police officer. So, at the Junior Deputy Camp hosted by Jasper County Sheriff's Department, he is learning about firearm safety and special weapons and tactics.
Oh, that was pretty cool. Like seeing all the gadgets and all the stuff they have, break into houses and save people.
The 4-day camp is designed to give kids an overview while keeping it fun and engaging.
No matter how old you are, ain't nobody likes to sit in a class and be bored by PowerPoint. So we try to keep it hands-on, actually learning and moving and doing stuff, seeing the stuff that they wouldn't normally see, being able to interact with the officers one-on-one, getting to see the dog actually work up close instead of just, as they're driving by and seeing a dog working and wondering what they're doing. They're getting to actually see how that dog works and why that dog works the way it does.
But ultimately, they want the kids to know there are humans behind the badge.
Law enforcement's not a bad thing. I just hope they realize that we are real people too. We just got a job to do like any other job. We have good days and bad days just like everybody else, and they just see that we're people.
With 1 day complete, Jacob Hoffman has hope for the next 3 days.
To learn a better understanding about the police force and how they do their job. They do it really well, so I'm just hoping to learn more about their job.
Ty Parks, KOAM News.
The main focus of the camp is to provide a fun way to show campers the police are people too. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A popular yogurt snack is being pulled from shelves. The reason, a choking hazard that may be hiding in the toppings. Plus, a push for equality with crash test dummies. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Erie, Kansas, ahead of the 152nd Old Soldiers and Sailors. In Consumer Watch, the Trump administration has announced it's placing a 17% tariff on most fresh Mexican tomatoes. Supporters of the move say it could boost domestic production, though critics say it likely leads to higher prices at the grocery store. According to the Florida Tomato Exchange, roughly $3 billion worth of tomatoes are exported from Mexico to the U.S. every year. Bitcoin blasted to a new record high Monday, passing $123,000 at one point. The surge kicked off what's being called Crypto Week in Congress, with the House set to vote on cryptocurrency-related legislation in the coming days. And Danone is recalling all flavors and sizes of its Yo Crunch products sold nationwide because the dome toppers could contain plastic pieces, according to an FDA post. The pieces are small and transparent with sharp edges and could pose a choking hazard. The recall is confined to the dome topper. The separately packaged yogurt is not believed to be affected. Consumers are urged not to consume the product and to contact the company for refund details. Sending a letter is now more expensive. The price of a Forever stamp has increased by a nickel from 73 to 78 cents. The price has steadily climbed since their original cost of 41 cents in 2007. The Postal Service says the increase is needed to achieve financial stability. The former U.S. Postmaster General previously warned postal customers to get used to, quote, uncomfortable rate hikes as the Postal Service seeks to become self-sufficient. Highway safety experts say women are more likely than men to suffer a serious injury or death in a car crash. But those crash test dummies used to test how vehicles perform in accidents are decades old and designed almost entirely around the male body. As Chris Van Cleve reports, a bipartisan group of female senators is pushing for equality.
College freshman Amanda Kish was driving home for the weekend from Central Michigan University in October 2022. She was rear-ended, sending her car out of control. The crash killed the 18-year-old.
My daughter should be here. I sent her to college, and she never came home.
Her mother, Frances.
She was 5 foot and 94 pounds, so I believe that if she might not have been sitting so close to the steering wheel, she might still be here.
Women make up more than half of U.S. drivers, but are 73% more likely to suffer serious injuries in a crash than men. They are 17% more likely to be killed. A gender gap with deadly consequences, Republican Senator Deb Fischer and Democrat Tammy Duckworth agree needs to close.
Whether driving or as passengers, we want to make sure that women are safe when they get in a vehicle.
We're taking the next step, and let's see if we can't remedy the situation.
And make it safer.
Yes.
Make it safer.
So that all those moms and daughters and sisters and best friends come home.
A bipartisan group of 4 women senators are sponsoring the She Drives Act to update federal crashworthiness tests by requiring the use of advanced test dummies that better reflect the driving public, including one simulating a 4'11", 108-pound woman.
Women hitting the dashboard at a different spot than men. Are we hitting a particular item in a car more often, and that's causing more injury? And that's where these crash test dummies that are, the size of the average woman will help us gather that data.
The current test dummies were developed in the 1990s and represent a 5'9" man weighing 171 pounds. The new Thor test dummy has been available since 2020 and is widely used internationally. Its manufacturer says it includes more than double the data gathering capability of older models.
So the rest of the world is using a smarter dummy than the U.S.?
Correct.
Humanetics CEO Chris O'Connor.
If this law passes, does that make vehicles safer in the long run?
Absolutely, it makes it safer, because right now we can't even detect these injuries in a crash test dummy because the sensors aren't there. And so you can't design a safer vehicle without knowing.
But some safety advocates, including the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, argue resources would be better focused on developing virtual tools to help researchers better understand the unique risks faced by different kinds of vehicle occupants.
Her voice. I miss her voice so much.
Frances Kish just hopes this new focus on women's auto safety will mean another mother won't feel her heartbreak. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Wyandotte, Michigan.
The Department of Transportation says Secretary Sean Duffy appreciates Congress's interest in resolving this issue and is committed to accelerating the process to improve safety for all Americans. Adding regulators are in the process of testing and evaluating updates to the new test dummies. Well, that's it for Consumer Watch this morning. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got that patchy fog out there again this morning. We're muggy this morning as well. We've got more pop-up storm chances by this afternoon. We'll have another look at your forecast and birthdays and anniversaries when we come back. Time now, 6:44. All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in St. Paul with Decker Vince celebrating birthday number 6. Happy birthday.
And in Pittsburgh, Kansas, Gabe Lance is celebrating big number 12. Happy birthday, Gabe.
And in Chanute, Allison Splector celebrating birthday number 15. Happy birthday.
And Tina Ohm in Pittsburgh, Kansas is celebrating birthday number 62. Happy birthday, Tina.
And in Yates Center, Tracy Parks celebrating birthday number 66. Says love from the whole bunch of family. Happy birthday.
And Jim Godinez is celebrating birthday number 75. Happy birthday, Jim.
And in Deering, Kansas, Mary Isle celebrating birthday number 98 today. Says wishing you a great day from Dee, Eddie, Lucille, and Heather.
And in Fall River, Kansas, Jerry White is celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday, Jerry.
And Daniel Howells, also known as Doc, celebrating another year wiser, says wishing you the happiest of birthdays, your true love, Laura. Very happy birthday to you. And a very happy birthday to everyone on our list. And if you would like to celebrate with us, Samantha has some information that you need to take down.
Yeah, birthdays are our favorite parts of the morning, so we want to celebrate with you. Make sure to send those birthdays and anniversaries for your special days to birthdays@komnewsnow.com. You can see that email on your screen. Also make sure you pay attention to that deadline to make sure that we have those pictures and those names and those special days all ready for you.
Of course, and a very important information there, and a reminder, we still have some fog across the area. It's become a bit more widespread, but not as dense as yesterday was. We had a lot of low visibilities, Kansas and Oklahoma yesterday. Still some reduced visibilities. Northern Elk County out there, as you can see, it's still Yates Center, Iola, Fredonia, Independence, Sedan, Miami, of course the Grand Lake area, just under 3 miles around Grove, eastern Berry County, and up around Stockton, Nevada. So again, just low beams, not your high beams. And of course, watch out for the possibility possibility of rapidly changing visibilities in some of these areas as well. Once fog burns off, we're going to have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies through the morning, and like yesterday, from about 11 to 7, we'll have a window for pop-up storms. Future Track thinks the better chances, at least initially, are on the Missouri side, really, or east of at least the 69 corridor. Yesterday, Future Track had it almost spot on with those initial pop-up storms along and south of I-44, so this may not be that far from reality, but we could still get additional pop-up storms out in our western counties as well, so don't feel left out. You might still get a shower or two out there, but again, with pop-up storms, majority of us dry. Wednesday brings in a few changes for us. Some good, some not so good. One that's not so good is it's going to be hotter tomorrow than what it is today. It's going to send our heat index values higher as well. Now, the other thing it brings, though, is more rain chances late in the day, but it brings us two sets of rain chances. One, we have pop-up storm chances. So southwest winds begin increasing, gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour or so at times. And as that brings in more warm, moist air into the area, that's why it's going to be hotter. It's why our heat index values are going to go up. It's also why, take a look at our pop-up storm chances. Look at how widespread the Future Track is picking up on them. Sometimes, it highlights very specific areas or zones where pop-up storms are possible, but it's got them sprinkled all across the area as we head into tomorrow evening. So just about anybody could get a pop-up storm, but again, they're still pop-up in nature. A lot of us may not see much of anything. It's just we'll have increased chances. Then we go into the late evening hours. We get some scattered showers and storms in our northern counties by 10, and then overnight we get a complex of storms. There's a slightly greater severe risk off to our north and west. We are right on the southern fringe of a level 1 out of 5 risk, only into our northern counties, which I'll show you in a moment. So some of these storms initially, very early Thursday morning, let's say after about 2 a.m., could still be packing a little bit of energy. So we're talking maybe some small hail, gusty winds with some of the stronger storms early Thursday. Now, it doesn't take very long before they begin to run out of steam because they've already been on a long journey on their way down here. And so as they approach, the expectation is they kind of start to weaken, they start to die out, they almost hit like a brick wall with a boundary out there, and so they begin to turn into just some scattered showers. But what happens is, ahead of that line, through tomorrow and into Thursday, we've got a southerly breeze that's been bringing in more moisture, more energy, so we're looking at more pop-up storm chances later in the day. And the thing about the pop-up storms Thursday, thanks to that energy in place from the now dead thunderstorms, it gives them a little more fuel for a little longer. So we're looking at pop-up storms a little later than usual and lasting a little later than usual as well, maybe as late as 9-10 o'clock Thursday evening. So we'll deal with that. Not expect anything crazy from those pop-up storms. They'll just be out there a little later than normal. So pop-up storms today, same with the thunderstorm chances Thursday, but late tomorrow into early Thursday, there's that level 1 out of 5 risk in our far northern counties. Again, starting the day, not too bad. It's that fog done by about 8-9 o'clock, mid-70s by 8, low 80s by 11. And we'll start to see those pop-up storm chances building in. We're going to have another look at your forecast here in just a moment, as well as your wake-up recap. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or if you hang out with us here on KOAM+, we're going to tell you about some first responders that are heading to Texas to assist with recovery efforts, and they're bringing a special assistant with them.
This is your Wake Up Recap for July 15th, your top stories to start your day. Scott Burleson of Oklahoma learns his fate in connection with a March 2024 homicide of Seth Langford of Carl Junction. Burleson pled guilty to murder in the second degree for his involvement. Yesterday, a judge sentenced Burleson to life in prison. As part of a plea deal in May, authorities dropped additional charges against Burleson, including robbery and armed criminal action. Several local schools are quickly reworking their budget after $6 billion in grant money is frozen as the U.S. Department of Education works to ensure they're in line with Trump's policies. The Pittsburgh School District warns that the loss of these funds could disproportionately hurt low-income families and other vital services. The school district says if the issue is not resolved, they're expecting to lose nearly $550,000 in funding. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, may suffer deep cuts from President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. SNAP provides food benefits to low-income families and elderly households, low-income working households, and to other low-income households that include the unemployed or disabled, and to households transitioning from welfare to work to supplement their grocery budget so they can afford nutritious food. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And it's going to be hot and muggy today. Highs around 90. Pop-up storms 11 to 7. Heat index values today could approach 100 degrees. Those storms wrap up. Skies clear out a bit. Few clouds overnight. Back into the low 70s. Tomorrow, southwest winds gusting upwards of 20. Heat index values, though, could reach 100 to 105 as our temperatures climb low to mid 90s. Additionally, we'll have pop-up storms in the afternoon and then some scattered storms late Wednesday into Thursday, with more pop-up storms Thursday evening. Some of the storms overnight into early Thursday could be strong to low-grade severe, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. Otherwise, we're going to certainly start to feel like July out there. Temperatures climbing through the weekend and next week into the low to mid 90s.
Perfect. Well, that sounds great. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making darn good corn salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Next on CBS Mornings, if you're planning a summer visit to a national park, you need to know that staff shortages are raising alarms about your safety. You can see the impact and hear tips to stay safe.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society joins us in the studio to share some tips on how you can keep your furry family members safe.
And Charlene Patton also in the studio with another healthy recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. Be back here tomorrow morning bright and early at 5 a.m.